What's up, gear mortals? Trey Xavier here. Today I want to show you how I program drums for my demos. Now, I can't afford to hire a drummer to record parts for every single guitar demo or amp demo or whatever review that I do. So I rely on stuff like EZdrummer and Superior Drummer to provide the drum tracks for my songs. So today we're using EZdrummer. I'm going to use the Pitch Dark kit, which I like a lot. I use this often. It's, you know, instant, brutal, punchy metal. No bullshit, everything sounds pretty great. And it's, you know, pre-mixed, which basically means I'm not gonna have to do anything to get it to sound good. And we're off. I use a combination of techniques to get my drum ideas from my brain into Pro Tools. Number one, I have this iRig pads. You can use any of the same style of pad, or if you have an electronic drum set and you can play a little bit, that's even better. I really wish that I had a good electronic drum set that I could just play my ideas right in. I also use the mouse just to click in ideas and alt drag, which is a lot less intuitive and a lot less fun and gets you less good results. But for certain things, you know, if you're just missing one little kick drum or, you know, one or two hits within a beat that you just kind of played in, then you really need it. It's not like you're going to notice a tonal or expressive difference if I hit the thing with my finger or if I clicked it in with a mouse, because it's all digital. So one other way I really like to program drums is to take a pre-made beat from EZdrummer's massive MIDI library, some of which come with their drum sample packs, some of which you can get separately. And you can get them either through the browser menu. You can grab them like this and sample them directly from there and literally just drag them right into your session, into a MIDI track or an instrument track. Or you can use this super convenient search feature, which allows you to find the kind of beat or fill that you need right away, using a bunch of different kinds of parameters. And then you can sample them right in the EZdrummer window and listen to them there. Or you can just drag and drop, just like with the browser window. Typically what I'll do once I find the beat that I'm looking for is that I'll modify it using the mouse or the pad, and I'll make the beat more specific to what I need, but it's a great place to start. And of course, each of these beats is played by a real drummer who's extremely skilled, so you know it's going to be a great performance right off the bat. Okay, so I'm going to play you this song that I'm working on for a review. It's pretty cool so far. This is very rough, all right? These are unedited, not particularly well-performed guitars. You're going to get the idea. Not particularly tight. But not bad. So we got to come up with some grooves. I have an idea of kind of where I want it to sit. Right now we're looking at 150 BPM, pretty slow, and I want it to be like a half-time groove. So it's like. Then you have to decide what you want your power hand doing. So that's hi-hat, ride, crash, or China, that kind of thing. Right away, I think just to start it off, we'll stick with the hi-hat. I think the second time the riff comes around, it's going to be a full-on China, super heavy breakdown, kind of an attack. So for right now, I'm going to stick with the hi-hat, slightly open. Let's see how that goes. So I'm just going to play in the most super basic groove, no kick drum, nothing. Nothing fancy at all. Obviously, that was not what you might call real spectacular. So previously what I had were some placeholder grooves straight out of EZdrummer MIDI packs, and those sounded really good, but I want something real specific now. I want my part. I want not just a sort of generic beat, no matter how good it might sound. I want something that fits exactly what I did, because otherwise you're not really like, it's not your song, it's not your sound. We're putting out a final product eventually, and that final product has to have something that fits what I played perfectly. So I have to make that from scratch to make it exactly that. Okay, so a lot of that is pretty good. A lot of it's a little at a time, a little too fast. I like having a little bit of, human element in it, even though I'm not, Dirk Verburen. I'm not like Mr. Great Drummer. I can move some of this stuff so it's in perfect time, and leave some of the little things. Just stuff that's like a very tiny bit early or late. That gives it a little bit of feel, which is very important. Too much feel and it sounds like garbage because it just sounds sloppy. You don't want that. It's a fine line. I notice sometimes when I play stuff, it's in time, but everything just a tiny bit early. So sometimes I can grab a whole section of it like this and just pull it into time, and it works out. So it's like my time is pretty good. It's just not the same as the metronome. That's pretty good. That's a great start. What we got to do now is fill in all the gaps. Okay, so because this is kind of a slow-moving piece and there's a lot of dead space in the middle, I want to kind of fill it out with obviously some kick drums first of all, and then I also I think this is a good one for some ghost notes on the snare, which is easy to get carried away with and have them just all over the place, sort of Matt Halpern style. He's kind of the god of ghost notes. He's like the big boo in in Super Mario Brothers. There's the little boos that run around, and then there's the big boo, the big ghost. That's Matt Halpern. So I really like using this kind of hard and light dynamic in my drum parts with the power hand, because you still get that sort of strong, like 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1 and 3 kind of a thing. But then there's also these little hits in between that drive the thing and keep it from just being this like big open. So I'm doing like. Gives it layers of dynamics. That's the real important thing. So first up, I'm going to try a little bit of the kick part and see how that goes. Okay, so that was kind of wanky, obviously, but now we're going to move stuff around and really get a groove going, and not just a groove, a groove that really accents what's going on in the guitar and what will eventually be the bass. Generally, I have the velocity layer on in Pro Tools so I can see where everything is sitting. It's very important to be aware of dynamics when it comes to drums. Don't just 127 everything, except, well, not also the kick. I'm going to 127 the kick right now. That means I'm blasting it up to the highest possible velocity, mostly just so that I can really hear it. I'm going to do the same for the snare right now because I have all the backbeats. The backbeats you want to hit hard, okay? The little in-between ghost notes are going to be much lower in velocity, and that's what we want. But right now, we want all the backbeats just fucking blasting out. Wow, that's actually like kind of reasonably in time for the most part. Kudos to my finger drumming. Right now it's just way too much kick. I went overboard, so I'm going to delete a couple of them. Let's see what happens if you take something out. I'm going to take these two out. Okay, I want it to hit with that second guitar hit. Yeah, that's too many. And then I want a couple more here. Actually, I want to add a snare in here, so it goes ba-doom-doom. And I'm going to add some cymbal hits there as well. Really, I don't want to hit that part hard. Oh, that's a tom. There it is. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's cool. I'm going to shut off the click for now because it's starting to get a little annoying. I kind of use the head bob test. So when you're listening back to what you've just played or written or clicked in or whatever, kind of like, you know, bob your head along and you'll feel where things sit better like that. Okay, that last bit sucks. Too much. Oh, I know what we want to do. Okay, I gotta make sure we got lots of little grids for this one. So I want to do a dig-da-boom-boom from the kick drum, a little flam, rat-doom-doom. Why does that feel too fast? We'll do a little flam hit on the snare too. That'll really. This is a rim shot, and this is a regular snare hit. And I put them slightly off from each other to create a flamming effect. And then I'm just gonna move this and have it go twice. So let's listen to what we got so far. It's all right. It's getting there. So now we're going to take a look at some ghost notes. This is another one that looks really awkward when you're playing them in, because you're just kind of like, doo-doo-doo-doo. And then basically I'm just going to move them around a lot. But basically I like to do kind of a continuous performance and then go back and edit it, because you think of things as you're playing that you might not think of when you're just trying to imagine where it's going to go. So kind of a good general guide for ghost notes is look at your groove and see where there's holes, and then try and fill those holes with ghost notes. It'll really make it feel like a continuous kind of a rolling train sort of emotion through your song. Okay, so that sucked, but now what we're going to do is go in and take that general idea and flesh it out a little bit more. I wonder if this will sound good. Yeah, I like that. That keeps it rolling a little bit. Yeah. Okay, so that's good for like the first measure and a half. So in general, no two ghost notes or snare hits are going to be at exactly the same level. So it sounds more realistic if you make ones that are right next to each other different velocity levels. So whether you have it going from high to low or low to high, either way it makes it sound a little bit more natural. This one is harsh in my groove. Yeah, that's starting to get some feel to it. So we still got that big backbeat in there, but instead of just a bunch of space in between everything, we've got little tiny hits keeping the groove going. It's a little dry right now. I want to add in some fun little splashes and crashes. One thing that's really important that you might not think about is not making your drummer an octopus, okay? You should try to make it something that it is possible for a human being to play. Now, of course, some human beings are more gifted than others. I like to personally pretend that I've hired Alex Rudinger as a session drummer, and I can push a little bit beyond the normal human performance aspect, okay? I'm pretending like I've got a really, really fucking sick drummer. Because it's a machine, you could have it playing something that there's no way that any human being could ever play. But that's obviously not realistic. People will pick up on that whether or not, even if they're not musicians, they'll be kind of like, that doesn't really sound that real. See if it needs any cymbal hits anywhere else. Yeah, I want one right here. See if a splash will do it. There's a time and a place for splashes. I just wish it was everywhere because I love splashes. Yeah, that's the jam. So the most obvious place to put a crash or a splash is right on the 1, okay? At the beginning of almost every song you've ever heard in the history of rock music, there's a big fat crash with the kick drum underneath it, right on the 1, right on the downbeat of the song or the riff. Sometimes people like to fuck with you, but it's pretty rare. You almost never want a crash cymbal unaccompanied by a kick drum. That's sort of an unspoken rule. Okay, so I feel like this spot right here needs a fill. Better than that shitty one. So I'm just gonna clear out some space and I'm gonna try playing in a couple ideas and see what sticks. Okay, so now I've got the fill worked out. I can't play it exactly the way I want it, so I might switch some stuff around afterwards, but this will get the general idea down. Okay, so it's not super in time, but it has most of the feel that I wanted. Yeah, so I wanted this to go little tom, big tom, but I couldn't do that with my fingers. You can get a lot of dynamic range out of the drums. Like, just listen to this. But sometimes in a thick metal mix, the only dynamic range that you can hear is the top like 15%. All right, guys, thanks so much for stopping by and checking this out. Hopefully you learned something. If you haven't already, please subscribe for more tutorials like this. We're gonna be doing 4 of them throughout Metal Month. This is the 2nd one, and I will see you real soon. Today, I wanna give you a little glimpse into my world of writing songs and making demos. So what I wanna show you is how I make a demo and write a song from scratch. I won't give you the whole song. I'm just gonna do a little chunk, maybe a verse and a chorus. I have not written this song yet. I have some ideas, but I'm gonna kind of show you how it goes from inception to completion